Hell, it's a great friendship too. Go ahead, Roy, you start.
Oh, we were casino bosses at the Tropicana, and new management came in. We quit. So while we were waiting around for them to build a new hotel or something, we started a yard business together. So we've been business partners in more than one time. And yeah, we've always kept in touch.
I have some bad news though for you. I only have one snowsuit. So if we have a problem, you're in trouble. I'm Darin W Allred. I'm an orthopedic surgeon and I live in Salt Lake City, but I fly to small towns, rural towns in the surrounding area. Most of them are too far to drive to, so I fly. This is a lot like my job, honestly. There are little parts that really suck, like it's freezing out here. But it's incredibly beautiful. It's fun. We're about to fly. There are good parts, there are bad parts. But things like this where you look out and see the sun rising behind the mountains make it all worthwhile. I grew up originally in a small town in southeast Texas, and honestly my heart longs to be in a small town. But over the years I spent 15 years working in metropolitan Denver, and it took me a while to figure out a way where I could work in small towns. Most of the small towns I work are too small for me to live there full time, so I have to work in several small towns, and I make that happen by flying. I can't take off with any frost stuff on my wing. The frost causes friction, it decreases the lift capability of the wing, so I have to get all the frost off. And this is just a nice little trick to get it off. Or the best alternative is to keep it in a hangar overnight. That's the best alternative. Tomorrow we have 7 cases in Ely. Ely's this magnificent little town that's right in the middle of Nevada. The best way to describe Ely is it's 4 hours from Vegas and Salt Lake, and people love to describe it as saying it's 3.5 hours from the closest Walmart. So it gives you an idea that it's fairly isolated. It's a relatively small mining town. The people are wonderful. They're just super genuine, loving, caring, nice people. There's one patient in particular I think is fairly interesting, and her name is Michelle. And she unfortunately had a fall and had an accident and tore both rotator cuffs and has arthritic, painful shoulders. And we did a reverse shoulder replacement on one side, and we're going to come back and do it on the other side tomorrow.
You know what, that is true that everybody does ask me that. If I get nervous about him flying and if it scares me. And you know what scares me more than that is him not living. And I really did see Darin start to not be as lit up as I've seen him lit up. And to me, if you're not living, you're dying. So for me, there's just seeing him so happy and doing what he loves. I'd always rather he does that than isn't living. So to me, to watch him do this, he's living his best life, and that makes me happy.
The other patient also has an interesting story. He's kind of a rare patient. He had a herniated cervical disc, and it was so big that it actually started pushing on his spinal cord. Usually those don't push on your spinal cord, they'll push on your nerve roots. And as a result, it caused him to have temporary paralysis. And he really struggled with it. He had surgery and fused both discs where he had his herniated disc. And fortunately, it now is able to walk and is able to get around, but is still in the process of recovery. Tomorrow we're going to do actually carpal tunnel surgery for him on both sides because he, in addition to all those problems, he also is struggling with carpal tunnel. So my favorite part about Ely is this car. It's a car the hospital owns and they leave it at the airport for people that come in like me. But the best part about this car is the look you get from patients when they recognize you in the car, because they wonder if you're a good surgeon or even capable of doing the surgery. So we're headed to the hospital. Unfortunately, the hospital has a house that they let me use, and it's close to the hospital, and so that's where we're headed.
You can imagine if you don't have the money for a reliable vehicle, or if you don't have the money for travel, you really are kind of stuck here in a sense. One of the things I think is kind of forgotten from a physician standpoint is how big of a difference they can make in a patient's life. And in a big area, if a physician doesn't see a patient, that patient will probably just see another physician. It's probably not a big deal. But out here in Ely and a lot of rural areas around the US, the patient doesn't have an option to see someone else. No one exists. And so if the patient doesn't get to see a provider, then they just don't get care.
So today is pretty relaxed. Been on call all day, but since it's a small town, really not too much to do. I haven't been called, and that's really typically the way it goes. So I usually catch on paperwork, do a lot of reading, do things professionally and personally that I need to do to catch up on. But tonight we're gonna grab some dinner. Not a whole lot of choices here, but most of the options actually are pretty good since a lot of tourists come through here. And then either watch a football game tonight, or if I'm lucky, play some video games with my son-in-laws.
I'm excited to get better again, to get back to being myself, so I can start paying back people that have all been helping me and paying it forward for these years. Like my friend Roy and his wife Peggy Mary. I also have 5 daughters and a son, which left me so far with about 16 grandkids I'd like to get a hold of and hold and feel with these hands and walk and greet and hug. That's all.
Okay, any last minute questions? No. The right shoulder is the correct shoulder. No. You're still Michelle's. Okay. He's waiting for us.
Even getting out of the bed, having to pull the covers over is hard. Or pull my pants up, I can't do that.
We're happy it went well. She's certainly struggled with her shoulder for so long, and it's really been disabling for her. And she's such an incredible person. You know, she honestly is very inspiring. She talks about serving people, but I think there are a few people in this world that actually talk about it and live it, and she lives it.
My biggest thing in my life is to help people. And I have this mantra that if I do anything during the day, at least I do one kind thing to someone or for someone. And my goal in life is to be a good person. It doesn't have anything to do with religion. I just want to be a good person and help people that are in need.
I'm glad Gary's case went well also. You know, the greatest part about Gary, it's not funny at all, it's inspiring. He's just the most positive guy. He's worked through some really challenging times, and despite all that, he's just super positive and really fun to be around as a result of that. And I hope he continues to do well. I'm sure he will. Usually, carpal tunnels have pretty straightforward recoveries.
Makes you feel like you're really off the ball, doesn't it?
My goals in life, interestingly, have very little to do with success. It has very little to do with how much money I make, how many cases I do, but really it's about how how many people can I help? How many lives can I change? Can I have a good time doing it? And can I not destroy my family and not die in the process? It's really about helping more people and connecting with them and really feeling like I made a difference.
You leave, we're all there.
I'm exhausted. OR days are exhausting. Clinic days are exhausting too, also. But it's always fun to go home, and even though it's late and it takes me a long time to get here, a long time to get home, the work is definitely rewarding, and nothing, as much as I love the OR, it doesn't quite compare to going home, and love going home to see my family, and that's obviously the best part of the day for sure.